Hey, sponsored by MTN Nigeria. I'm Sheriff Quadry. And with me on the show this morning is.
Me. Morning, everybody. My name is Jimmy Disu.
Well, it's good to be here again for the last time for the week. Talking about Dailies today, sponsored by MTN Nigeria. Let's quickly go out to take a short message from our sponsors, MTN Nigeria. When we return, it'll be time to dig in and take a look at the stories that the papers are serving today. Please stay with us.
Dailies today will be right back. Welcome back to Dailies Today. Dailies Today.
Dailies Today.
On 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Once again, welcome to Dailies Today. If you are just joining us, I'm Sheriff Quadry. Jimi is here, and somebody's already sending tweets in predicting one of the headlines that we would. Did you give anybody a score?
No. Which headline is that?
Okay, talking about the payment of extra 8.9 billion to health workers.
No,
they've suspended
incidentally, it's not part of what you're thinking. Those are everyday things.
Let's start with the nation politics. Abiru not in power contest with Sanwo-Olu. Where is this coming from?
It's not by accident. And it's not by accident that it is in the nation. Of course,
Yes.
the ownership
Yes.
of the nation. So these two stories are not by accident. And I had heard, I spoke to an APC chieftain off record, of course, sometime last week. And he told me that all is not well with the APC again with the emergence of Abiru. And this is the way he put it. He said, look, we've had top politicians who've been in the party for close to 20 years, working their way up, that in the party is expected you work from councillor to LG chairman, you grow. And that's from nowhere a man who has finished his career in the banking industry by being MD of a bank, suddenly finds his way and picks up a senatorial ticket. I was surprised, and so apparently the all is not well with that. Now, when I read this and it's now coming out in the nation, it tells me that something is fishy. My background really is newspaper, so I know when I can smell it right.
When you see something.
Right, yes. And what some people are thinking is that Abiru is just like being on standby to pick up the governorship ticket after Jide Sanwo-Olu.
Oh.
Now, in politics, there is no smoke without fire. It might blow away, it might not.
Okay.
But the race for governorship for 2023 apparently has started. And with these kites being flown here and there, the question you ask is, would the party not be giving Sanwo-Olu a second term?
Yeah.
Okay. And I've heard something like, it was supposed to be Hamzat that was supposed to be the governor in waiting.
Oh.
Yes, I mean what I heard.
Without a second term for the current governor.
I'm not even talking. I'm talking about what I heard. In politics, here things. What I heard was that Hamzat really was the man who would have been given the ticket, who would have gotten the ticket.
Okay.
But for the religious consideration, where that came from, only God knows. That Sanwo-Olu should finish Ambode's tenure.
That's the permutation.
Because it was said that Tinubu 8 years Muslim, Fashola 8 years Muslim. Even though some top Christian leaders were to say that Fashola treated as a Muslim treated them better, treated the Christian leaders better than Ambode, who was a Christian. But that's a story for another day. Let Ambode enjoy his rest and pension. So there's a lot of configurations going on, and I'm just hoping that this does not distract Jide Sanwo-Olu from the job that he's doing, because there is a lot of work to be done.
Are you foreseeing a clash here? Well, because it's very easy for somebody somewhere, a group of people somewhere, to say that at least you're going to be governor for 4 years. It's another thing for the governor, incumbent governor, to, at the end of his tenure, decide to run again.
Well, I think it has been well established as far as Lagos is concerned that no matter how well you do and whatever, and even no matter what you know, when you say you know what you know, the powers that be, or the power that be, because there's only one really, that be would always prevail for now.
For now.
But I keep saying that gentleman should be very careful that he doesn't go a bridge too far. One thing in life is you must pray to God to give you the wisdom to know when to stop. And that was why when Buhari won, I keep saying, when Buhari won the election the first time, Sheriff, my analysis on that day was on this other gentleman. Specifically, I'm talking about Tinubu. Yes, and because he had, that was the peak of his career, and I believe that he had got to the peak. He needn't look any further.
Okay.
But then again, I'm not a politician. You see, politicians have a different way of looking at these things. I'm just a regular middle-class gentleman wants to pension. But apparently politicians don't pension. You pension them. You pension them. But it is very, very interesting. I wish I could grab Emmanuel Oladisu, the deputy editor. So it's written by the deputy editor.
Yes. That means it's big. There is some sort of...
yes. Yeah. And it's craftily put here. Okay, but for those of us who have a nose for these things, we've picked it up.
Craftily put. I mean, look
at
it's
it. Crafted. See.
You know, if you are not looking well, you might even miss it.
You might, it's even on the politics page. Yeah. But for those who know, they know what this means. I've done newspaper all my life, I can tell you.
So we should expect drama, especially in the ruling party.
No, not yet. But the election is not a done deal. I've been told that. I have been told that it is not a done deal. The election of Abiru as the Senator of Lagos is not a done deal. Okay. By the way, you know Badamos is coming tomorrow.
Yes, you said it.
Yes. Don't worry, I'll put him on that control. I'll put him on that control. But I'm hearing it is not a done deal. And some people are determined, to teach the powers that be a lesson that it cannot be business as usual. But it's always like that towards at the end of the day.
Yes. You hear all kinds of things.
What bothers me, not bothers me, but what sets me thinking is, what is the loyalty quotient of this man, this gentleman, this big man? What is it? Is it the kind that Awolowo had, or is it cash-based? I will talk about that in another forum.
Okay.
One of these days.
All right. Let's move on quickly from the Nation to the Vanguard. Dino Melaye is not a fool. So this is a lengthy read, a full page dedicated to that particular. You mentioned it when you were talking about the videos release and everything.
Yeah. Now, unfortunately, the era of having a favorite columnist is dying. I grew up in newspaper, going out of my way, for example, to read a gentleman called Art Buchwald way back then in the International Herald Times. But those days of Delegiwa, Riepo, Parallax Snaps, those days seem to be fading away. But there is still somebody who's keeping hope alive in that area. And that person is this gentleman called Azu. This is the most cynical whatever I've read, and I recommend that you go look for it. It's in the Vanguard. And he talks about Dino Melaye and says that Dino Melaye is no fool, of course, referring to the video that we all saw. First of all, he starts the article by saying all kinds of, by describing the antics Dino's been in when the police were looking for him. He climbed a tree, stayed 11 hours on a tree and all that. He concludes with the fact that Dino Melaye might be smarter than most of us think. For example, Azu says that, how are we sure that all those watches and so on and so forth are not just replicas and advertisement, that it's possible that those who make these replicas might use him to advertise their products.
Oh my word!
Yeah, but he said.
Oh
That's why
my
he said.
word!
He said there's no. He said, but look at this paragraph, Sheriff. Let me read this paragraph. He said, "Where did Melaye, who other than being a politician and has never had a paid day job all his life, get the kind of money for this lifestyle of curated luxury? One Chopard wristwatch alone, depending on the features, costs between $4,000 and $11,000. You know, and you know, so it's a beautiful piece. I recommend that you take.
And you can get replica of these wristwatches anywhere.
Oh, there are replicas everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere.
Replicas everywhere.
Everywhere.
And he says that how he stocked it, only he can tell. My best guess, this is Azul saying now, my best guess is that there are luxury item dealers in Europe, US, and Asia happy to flog imitations or defective originals well below cost price. In the COVID-19 year, it is a tough market. He also talks a bit about Daily Momodu's publication, and he says that for those who are criticizing Daily Momodu, they shouldn't be that he has a history of highlighting things like this. Remember the days of Abacha and so on and so forth, and that's what he has always says. Some people have been outraged that Ovation TV indulged Melaye by recording and publishing the video. It was the same reaction that greeted the Ovation interview with former Dezani Madweke, who pleaded ill health as excuse for evading extradition, and so on and so forth. It says, I don't know why they are outraged. Ovation has never pretended to be anything other than a celebrity playground.
Yeah.
Just like an amusement park for them. And it says it has done it very well. Others have been outraged, as indeed I was at first, for a different reason. I don't like those kind of things, but then again, I have an activist blood in me, so
yeah.
But there's value in it. I mean, hey, he's made a success out of it.
Yeah.
My late mom used to call Elevation itself an album way back then. So it's just an album of social events.
But what it is really?
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And I like the way Azu put it. It's a playground for the rich. Let them expose where both legal and illegally gotten wealth.
Right. Moving on to another story from the Vanguard newspaper. Rise in prices. Threats to nation's food security. That's coming from the presidency. It comes with two riders. FG will continue to promote investment in agriculture. Buhari says Nigeria averts food crisis despite COVID-19. That's from the Vanguard newspaper.
Yes. Can I get away with a one-sentence reaction? Am I allowed to do that?
Let's just hear first.
Well, this is all I have to say. Go and check history. The French Revolution started from the cost of bread. That's it.
It happened recently in Lebanon, as a matter of fact.
I said one sentence, not two. So the French Revolution started from increase in the cost of bread.
Are they paying attention? Are they paying closer attention to it? Because I read what the chief of staff, Gambari, said in the papers, and he said that the rising food prices is just temporary. That the grains were high, and then it was 24,000 initially. Then later on, it came down to about currently now that it's about 12 to 17,000. According to him, that it will go down eventually.
It might not go. The overheads are going up. You have fuel increase, cost of transportation. It's going to be translated along this. It's simple economics. You don't need to have a degree in economics to say to note that. But like I said, the French Revolution started from the increased cost of bread, so we need to be careful. There's so many things. Now you want me to expand this thing, but there are so many things that are just not working right.
Right.
And that's the safest way I can put it. We do need to be extra careful.
We do. You can send a tweet in at Nigeria Info FM on Twitter. I can see some tweets here already coming in. Let me take this one, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Canis Yevia Ifeanyi says, good morning, Oga Jimmy and Sheriff. The president's order to stop forex allocation to food importation and existing border closure does not mean well to Nigerians in terms of cost of food products.
No, I don't think so. Look, your staple food is locally produced. So you're actually talking of things like tinned food You can't be importing Gary from China now. I mean, give us a break. We need to protect our farmers. So I don't see anything wrong in it, to be honest with you. Go off conflicts and start drinking ogi.
Yeah.
Go off, we just have to learn to eat
Aren't we even making some flakes here already? I think we are. We're making conflicts here already.
When it comes to food, it's about acquired taste.
Yeah.
Maybe the kids who are coming up now would like it, but but honest to God, I think, and like you said this morning, the government did not ban importation of food. What it says is that go get your forex from someplace else.
Right.
So what it means is that the price of cornflakes, sausages, and all this will go up. We need to face certain realities. We can't keep throwing a scarce foreign exchange at everything inside.
Yeah, exactly. Prince Akinloye says, unfortunately, the government had to increase fuel and electricity tariff at the same time. This would surely lead to serious hardship. Jonye, I don't like when people spell their name like this. Well, let me just read it. The rise in food prices will force all of us to go to farm. But the government must be ready to subsidize the fertilizer and make it available to farmers.
Well, the government has realized that subsidizing fertilizers has become a scam.
Yeah.
So it never comes that
Yeah,
cheap
it has.
anyway. So
people still buy it exorbitantly. Okay, so let's move on to the Punch newspaper away from the Vanguard for a moment. Nigerians, others face deportation. UAE issues November deadline. So Nigerians and other foreigners in the United Arab Emirates whose resident visas had expired have till November 17 to leave the Gulf country. This followed the suspension of visa extension for foreign residents and expatriates by the UAE government on account of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Well, I remember during Buhari's first coming, there was some decree about if you broke the law in other countries and you came back here, then you come back and face a penalty for putting the country up to disgrace. I think that we need to do something that might be a bit unconventional, and that is put a law in place that makes Nigerians liable, that makes them liable for, how do I put it now? That makes them responsible for whatever happens to them if they break laws of other countries.
Right.
Where I'm going is this. You know that you have a visa, your visa has a time lag. You now stay back. You stay back so many years after, and you expect the federal government to come charter a plane and bring you home. We need to put a stop to that practice. There's so much of it.
Yeah.
Look at a lot of our girls who go to these countries.
All kinds of places.
All kinds of places. Now, please come and then before you know it, you find that we have to charter a plane to bring them back home. We must put a stop to this.
Even the Dubai story, as a matter of fact, the Dubai government,
yes.
The UAE government had to charter planes and started paying for people's flight ticket back home.
Why do we do these things? I'd like to tell people to be careful in case they are listening. The one place you don't want to do things like this is in countries where they don't speak English. I've been to Dubai many times, and I know what it's like going through their immigration. You understand? And please, I'm not saying one has to be a bit careful, but these people they are not particularly endeared towards black people. That's the honest to God truth. So we need to be very, very careful. We need to be our people need to be very, very careful.
As a matter of fact, if you're going anywhere, there is need for everyone. And this is what we don't do as much as we should. Do a research as to where you're going to, the culture, the tradition.
Stop jumping on the bandwagon.
What are the do's and don'ts in these places, the laws of these places? You need to know.
Don't have a mindset that every other place but Nigeria is a good place to live in. Because usually people who run into problems there tell you the wrong stories.
Yep.
Okay, they tell you the wrong stories. You fall into the trap, and lo and behold. So I like us to be careful. Sit back here and see if you can put 600,000-700,000 to get together to get out of the country. That's a good place to start something.
It is. Yes, it is.
So we need to have a completely different mindset, and the government at some point needs to let people realize that, look, hey, if you go breaking laws in other countries, we won't come for you. We can't keep wasting our money all the time. We won't come for you. When you go to other countries, behave yourself and obey their simple laws.
Indeed. Let's pick up the Punch newspaper once again. We are on page 2 this time around. One North ACF membership not by force. Ariwa tells North Central Group. Remember, it came out in the news the other day that North Central.
Yes. There is restlessness in the land. This is part of what unemployment produces. Now everybody now wants to log on to being in some group, set up a group, because it looks as if it's some kind of lucrative business. I'm being honest with you. 2023 is around the corner. There's restlessness. People are talking about Duduwa Republic. The North wants to leave.
You always say that. It's about personal interest.
But the truth is, I'd like our people once in a while, when you can sit down, and think deeply. The greatest problem of our people are the people next to them, their immediate leaders. But what they do is they party your mind. Yes, when we get out of Nigeria now, we will be better off. Nah, lie. Now, like when I usually tell, when I'm told that the North is marginalizing us, I said to myself, I'm a Lagosian. I feel marginalized in my own state.
Right.
Not by any other person, but my fellow Lagosians and Yoruba people.
Right.
I mean, so let's get it right. So we need to put all these things in. You're going to have more of this. So many, the Yoruba groups that you have now are close to 50-something that I can think off the top of my head. Okay? And they're all splinter groups. And because a lot of them, not all of them, a lot of them are lucrative businesses. The lucrative unemployment has caused all this. Most lucrative businesses are. Check out some of these people. I'm not saying all.
Yeah.
Check out some of these people and background them.
Right.
Find out how well established they are. You'll be in for a surprise. So you're going to have more of this. You're going to have more of this. This forum, that forum. You and I need to form. Let's form the Lagos Ibadan Axis Forum.
2023 is around the corner.
Yes,
it's true.
Yeah,
Philip will just join. We'll give Philip PRO or something.
Philip cannot speak Yoruba now. The poor boy has gone behind the pillar again.
Oh my word! Let's take this headline from the Punch. Christian leaders endorse Obaseki. Izeyamu focuses on workers, and this is what we're talking about at 8:00 on the Crossfire today.
Oh really?
The politicking has started.
Well, the politicking has started, and this is exactly what I was just talking about.
Yep.
Just a minute ago, Christian leaders who are endorsing Obaseki and who are endorsing Obaseki, I'm sure they are not doing it for nothing. And it is a very, very sad development. There's the unemployment and poverty. They're the most dangerous things in any society. It's worse than cancer. Cancer has a medical, you can do chemo, whatever. Unemployment and poverty, it changes the mindset entirely. Sit back and imagine, way back in the 60s, if any religious leader endorsed Awolowo. Even if they did, they do it quietly. You wouldn't find this kind of thing in the Daily Times way back then, that the Bishop of Lagos has endorsed somebody as governor. This is what poverty brings. Everybody now wants to everybody wants to be relevant. Everybody wants to make money. These things, ask those in politics, Sheriff, they'll tell you, these things don't come free. When you find senators, members of National Assembly, trying to justify the money they are paid, these are the kind of things they're talking about. To run an election in Nigeria, you go here and win.
It costs an arm and a leg.
It costs an arm and a leg. Or the
and this is part of it.
This is part of it. I feel sorry for Obaseki. Do you know why?
Why?
I can imagine the bill that he's running up to this election. You know, he changed party. I can imagine, and if he manages to win the second term, and he sits back and looks at the liability of what he has to pay, but I feel so sorry for him and Edo State.
It's quite sad. You should join us in a couple of minutes away. We'll be talking about Edo State and the possibility for or not for violence in that election. A particular NGO did a study as to the possibility, what you should expect leading to, during and after the election. And they have their facts and figures. They'll be joining me on the show this morning.
Good.
Jimmy, what's coming up at 9?
I have Peter Sele. You remember of the TUC?
Yes.
But guess what? We would hardly talk about fuel. We just want to rub minds about Nigeria generally, because I don't want to talk about
that. Should be interesting.
It should be
that should be
yeah.
really interesting.
Want to rub minds, about labor movement and ask him 1 or 2 questions. I don't want to talk about it.
No, you just did it. people watching on camera just saw you. You just did it. You might not have said it from your mouth, but it might not have come out from your mouth, but at least, yeah.
Because apparently that's what sparked off yesterday's whatever. She said, I'm coming well prepared.
Jimmy, thank you so much for
All
coming.
right, Sheriff. I see you at 9.
Yes, many thanks to our sponsors, MTN Nigeria. Dailies Today returns on Monday. Do join us again. In the meantime, let's go to a break and then bring you the news. After the news, it'll be time to get cracking on Edo Election 2020.